Right. Grand afternoon, kings and queens, princes and princesses out there. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy Saturday to spend a few moments with us on the Fan Club, otherwise known as the Fathers and Nutrition event. And today, man, I'm just overwhelmed with so much joy that this phenomenal doctor, pediatrician, America's pediatrician, has taken time away from not only his patients, but his family. First Lady Martha, thank you for lending him to us for a few moments. But today we have Dr. William Sears, affectionately known as Dr. Bill. And before we get into a series of questions, we're going to have an introduction of Dr. William Sears by our National Marketing Director, otherwise known as Miss Gay Russell.
Hello, Dr. Sears. Well, I can't tell you that there's anything more exciting that I've ever done in my Juice Plus career than introduce Dr. Bill Sears. I mean, I have goosebumps thinking about him. Whenever he's going to come to Chicago or speak anywhere, I was like always there. Dr. Bill, I've been working with kids for 45 years, and always my interest was in nutrition, kids' behavior. And so you are a source, you are a main source. When I looked at his bio, I thought, oh my gosh, there's so much not there. What about this? And what about that? And so to concise so much of what Dr. Sears has done, it's just been a major impact. You know, back in the day, they used to talk about Dr. Spock, you know, being a big influence. Well, Dr. Sears has been a massive influence to everybody that I know that has had children, who has worked with children with attention deficit, but always from the cause of believing in their greatness and their positiveness. And that's the most, you know, impressive piece of all. And we can see there's so many things that we know that have made a big difference with who you are, you know, being a busy parent, you know, raising healthy families for over 40 years in your practice with your sons, you know, with your wife as a part of that helm, making a difference in lifestyle medicine for everybody. But he's also served, he had time somewhere in there to serve on voluntary professor boards at the University of Toronto, University of South Carolina, University of Southern Carolina, California School of Medicine, and the University of California, Irvine. You know, most of us were happy to get through the first college, right? Let alone be going back and having time to consult and encourage the best behavior of other people. You know, well, and somewhere in there, he found time to have 8 children with Martha. And they didn't have enough to do. They did write 45 books, you know, on nutrition, as well as the Ask Dr. Sears website. And if you don't know about that, it's the first thing that I pass on to anybody. Ask Dr. Sears. You can find any question, you know, that you have about childhood. So what an impact you've made with that. And so obviously because of that and his countless articles, TV shows and magazines and radios and other media have always wanted him. You know, can we get Dr. Sears? So it was just such a delight to know that you were going to be here. You know, then he's done his health coaching. He started a health coaching program, and so many people that I know have said, yes, I first heard about nutrition and kids and behavior, and I looked you up because I heard about it from Dr. Sears, his health coaching program. And so he's been featured on many articles, you know, Time Magazine in May of 2012, he was a cover article. How about that for accomplishments in life? But it's because of his simple approach, his simple, fun approach, you know, to be able to make a difference and impact people. And I think the biggest contribution you've always had, Dr. Bill, is from a place of spirit, passion, kindness, believing in others, finding someone's greatness. And that comes through in everything you do. And I'm so delighted for everyone that took the time for yourself this afternoon to hear Dr. Bill Sears. Thank you so
much. Thank you for that very kind introduction there. Okay, it was beautiful. To summarize, I get what I call the helper's high by doing all the books and taking part in the lives of so many children. Martha, that helper's high is that beautiful feeling you get by helping someone else. And I think I'm going to get that on this program, that perhaps a few people's lives will be better and happier and healthier because of what they learned on this program. So I hope we all have a helper's high. How we doing, Troy?
Troy, you're muted. Unmute.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay. As I was saying, I have the greatest help in the world, along with God, is Lisa Michelle, that is behind the technical scene today. Is going to be running things for us and making sure that we are on pace and on point. So, Lisa, thank you so much. And I guess we can get started with the first slide, and I'll get started with the first question, Dr. Bill.
Now, that the question I'm often asked this time of the year, especially, is, all right, how do I prepare, Dr. Bill, for all this stuff that's going on? I call it stuff, stuff that's going on. How do I keep healthy? How do I get through all this flu season and everything? So I summarize it in one simple slide, and that is preload your immune system. Preload is a term I use in the office. I've been using it for years, and that simply means that inside our body we have an army. All right, the human body is the greatest design in the world, and our great designer, God, knew we're going to mess it up by the way we eat and live. So our designer put in our body a huge army we call the immune system army. And so in a nutshell, the best thing you can do to prepare for what's going on out there is preload your immune system army. And here's how you do it in a nutshell. You see that NK guy in the middle? NK stands for natural killer cells. Now we have trillions of those, and they're like little Pac-Men. Think of soldiers patrolling all over your body. And what they do, they're like little Pac-Men. And when they see a germ or a cancer cell or a cell that doesn't belong there, they literally glom onto it. Like you see there, they're like magnets. They glom onto it and then they shoot biochemical darts into the germ, into the cancer cell, and blow it up. So right now, every one of you who are listening, you have your NK cell army fighting for you and blowing up all those germs in there. Now, like you do any army, the better you feed and care and train your army, the better they fight for you. So here's what happens, the NK cell and the brain. So your brain is your commander-in-chief of your immune system army. And the NK cell, hey brain, you take care of me, don't stress me out. And the brain says, I believe in you. It's called the belief effect. The better you believe in your body to fight for you, the better you believe in your immune system, better it does. Then the NK cell, the army says, feed me well. And we're going to talk about the great foods in our program, how you can feed your immune system army, take the right supplements, and move more. Our NK cells, they love movement. And it's very fascinating. The more you move and the less you sit, the more and the better your NK cells fight for you. So that's my first little sermon there, Troy, is preload your immune system to prepare yourself for the winter stuff that's coming on. And Troy, I think you're muted.
Stop muting me now.
Yeah.
Second question is, why exercise, and especially now?
Yes. Why exercise? Now, see, we have what our mantra in our medical practice, in our Dr. Sears wellness coaching practice, in all the teaching I do, universities and all, is make your own medicine. Now, this will surprise all our listeners. Inside your body, you have your own pharmacy. Now, think about, again, the great design of our body. Our designer of our body knew we're going to sit too much. and we're going to eat the wrong things. So our designer put inside our body a natural pharmacy. So here we have, I call it the tale of two eaters. Up on top, we have Sam the sitter. Sam the sitter. Now notice, this is important. And this is a slide that I show it to 5-year-olds and they love it. And Sam the sitter, you put junk food in your mouth and you get back a junk immune system. Okay, you put sticky stuff in your mouth. The kids will remember that. And what happens, you get sticky stuff in your blood, and the blood doesn't flow as fast. It's sluggish. And you see those little prescription bottles down there? That's where your pharmacy is. That we have trillions of microscopic medicine bottles lining our immune system, lining the lining of our blood vessels called the endothelium. That's where your pharmacy is. But notice, Sam the sitter's pharmacy is closed because he has sticky stuff on top of his medicine bottle. Now, in the bottom, we have Mandy the mover. All right, Mandy does what her mother said. Go outside and play, move, run, dance, have fun. And what happens, notice, Mandy's medicine bottles are open. There's no sticky stuff on top of them. And those little bubbles that are coming out of the medicine bottles are actually natural medicines. They've discovered 23 medicines you make. And the medicines you make are better than what you take. You make medicines that lower the highs, high blood pressure, high blood cholesterol, high blood sugar, medicines that raise your lows, antidepressants. That's why Dr. Mom was so right. Honey, you feel down, go outside and play. Medicines that mellow your moods, medicines that keep your blood from sticking so much, like anticoagulants, all the antis. But so this is what my mantra is, my teaching is, make your own medicines by moving more and eating not sticky stuff. Now, I was showing this, I was teaching for a first grade class this one time, and a mom told me this story. She said, you know, because you never know what kids get. And so guess what our little 6-year-old did? That night, Dad put us all in the van. They took us to a burger joint. Let's call it Sticky's Burger. So we go into Sticky's Burgers, and our 6-year-old scolds her daddy. Daddy, we can't put that sticky stuff in our mouth. We'll get sticky stuff on top of our medicine bottles. Wow, 6 years of age. So make your own medicines, move more. The more you move, the more medicines you make. The more you sit, the less medicines you make.
That is just incredible information, Dr. Bill. I'm moving already, but I'm sure a lot of people want to know what your diet consists of.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and I had to learn the hard way. I married a nurse, fortunately. You know, doctors marry nurses because you live longer. and I wasn't eating properly till 20 years ago. I got colon cancer, and that it like many stubborn doctors, it takes something like that to make me change. And that's why I devoted my ministry, the rest of our life, and my health books to nutrition and lifestyle. And so basically my day, if you want to show my diet there, I call it my 5S diet. This is a day, and this could be different for everyone, but I've researched this very highly, Troy, and I'm a show me the science type of doctor. So I'm not going to say anything on your program that is not backed up by years of experience. I've been in practice 50 years, but also I've surrounded myself with smart mentors, university professors who are smarter than I am, who've taught me so much, and research. So show me the science. So first of all, I start my day with a smoothie. I have 13 ingredients. Remember what Dr. Mom said, put more color on your plate? I put more color in my smoothie. I put handfuls of kale. I put a pomegranate. Pomegranates are in season during flu season. Smart design. And I put avocado. I put a lot of healthy fats because gone is this old low fat diet. When that low fat came out, we ate more carbs and we got fatter. So I have put 3 fats in it. I put MCT oil or coconut oil. I put avocado, and I put a handful of nuts. Go nuts, and it all goes in my smoothie. I put whole fat, plain, organic, all organic, kefir. Mix it all up. I put a little scoop of a Juice Plus protein powder, which I love, and so I start my morning with smoothie. Then in the evening, salads with spices. Greens are good for your immune system. The best spices, turmeric and black pepper. Sprinkle, 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 sprinkle on my salads. And then I snack during the day. Snacking, I call it the rule of twos. Eat twice as often, eat half as much, and chew twice as long. Chew is better for you, is how I teach the kids. And then sometimes I'll put 2 or 3 times a week, I'll put a fillet of salmon on top of my salad. There's no healthier meal on the planet than a big multi-green salad with a fillet of wild salmon on it. But then I'll have my patients say, well, doctor, I'm a vegan. I don't like fish. I say, okay. Now, I want you to remember this. You don't eat it, but you need it. Therefore, you must take it. So that's how I gravitate into science-based supplements. For example, let's take salmon, which I think if you want to Google a fillet of salmon, the nutrient content, and you'll find 10 nutrients that are high in a fillet of salmon. It happens to match the same 10 nutrients that are highest in your brain. Let's take the top 3, okay? First of all, omega-3s, top fats for your brain. Then next is what makes salmon pink. What makes salmon pink is a natural antioxidant, which is a big immune booster called astaxanthin. Astaxanthin is what makes salmon pink. And vitamin D. Those are the 3 big nutrients that we don't eat enough. Therefore, I mimic the salmon. I said, therefore, I tell my patients, I want you to eat 3 different supplements, all right? I want you to get the Juice Plus Quad, which are fruits and vegetables, berries, and omegas, a vegan source of omegas, okay? I want you to take astaxanthin. Astaxanthin is a natural antioxidant, and the best source of antioxidant is the ones that are grown over in Hawaii. That's why it's called Hawaiian astaxanthin. And then vitamin D. Vitamin D, because we don't get enough of it. And get enough vitamin D so your blood level is 50. What you'll read about 30, not enough. The new studies show 50. So that's why I get into the 5th food group is supplements based on science. And I tell my patients to work it through. I need it. I need all these foods, but I don't eat it. Therefore, I must take it.
Dr. Bill, you have so many catchy phrases. I think you might have been a rapper back in the day. You're not telling nobody. But let's talk about the new book, Meditation. How do you start your day?
Yes, well, I start my day. I don't start my day like most people. First of all, my cell phone, computers, anything electronic are not in the bedroom. So I start my day with meditation. And this is all in our brain book, in the Healthy Brain book. And as soon as I get out of bed, I look out the window, natural sunlight, let the sun shine in, sounds like a song. And in fact, I sang that to my wife, Martha. She says, Bill, don't sing on Troy's show. Okay. But I say, good morning, sunshine. But I start with the attitude of gratitude, because no matter how life sucks, and it does some days, we all have something to be thankful for. So my beginning morning, I'll go out and I'll take a walk. I call it movement meditation. In a warm weather swimming meditation. So with every step is a word. So it goes something like this: thank you, God, for my life, 80 years. IMD, please make it my ministry. You know, a 2-minute meditation, movement meditation, praise. And my brain says, I am ready to start the day. Bring on. I can handle anything that comes my way because I started the day the right way.
Hey, awesome, Dr. Bill. Now, a lot of people want to know this question, and I think it's important. But what was your childhood like, and where did you grow up?
Yeah, I grew up in a small town, Alton, Illinois, in the Midwest, and I would have been called an underprivileged child in those days. I grew up in a very financially poor family, the only child of a single mom. But my mother was smart, Troy. My mother, very early on, surrounded me with quality male mentors. I would hang out the local firehouse because they had a television. I would hang out the pastor's house, the priest's house at church. I would have scoutmasters and football coaches. I had tremendous male mentors. Thank you, Mom.
Mm-hmm.
And so even though I grew up in a financially poor, fatherless home, I was surrounded by quality male mentors. And I remember how my mother and my grandmother wanted me to go to church every morning on the way to school, to walk by and go to church on the way to school. And the way my grandmother bribed me is she would make me a big bacon and egg and cheese sandwich, and a big thick one, and wrap it in foil. And you say, you eat that on your way. Okay, so I started the day that way. And then I remember high school, I wanted to go to, Mom, I want to go to the fun school. Oh, Billy, you will go to Marquette High and you will work and pay your own tuition for that year. Mom, do it. Mom was right. Mom was right. And so that's how I grew up, Troy. And then I realized very early on that I wanted to do something. I figured all the people, how do you spend your day? You want to get up in the morning and you want to spend your day with some profession, some job that you go to bed at night and you have that helper's high again, that somebody's life is better because of what you did. So I wanted to be a priest or a pastor. I spent 3 years in a seminary and discerned out because I wanted to have kids and a family. And that's when I went into medicine to become a doctor. And I wanted to go be a pediatrician because a pediatrician, if I can start parents off on the right foot with their children at the very first day, even during pregnancy, I've influenced that family for 90 years. The only field of medicine you can have a 90-year influence on your patients. So that was my background. And thank you, Mom. Mom knows best.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, Mrs. Sears. Now, you're a visionary because you literally went into my next two questions, and they were, other than that big, thick bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich, what did your nutrition look like as a child? And who influenced you to go from the ministry to the medicine? And at what point did you know medicine was your calling?
Well, I went from ministry to medicine, but actually I went from one ministry to another, because that's what ministers do. They minister. They help people. They help people grow. They help people grow spiritually, financially, emotionally, physically. So this is a ministry. And I think very early on, Troy, I learned in my medical practice that I had to create in my patients, help them create a healthy food attitude, a healthy attitude that what I put into my body is going to make me smart. And I remember, especially teenagers. Okay, teenagers, they get all the junk, and I remember even as an underprivileged child, those are the population that is being taken advantage of because they're being marketed to junk food. So recently I had a patient come into my office, call him Jason, a 12-year-old child, teenager, preteen. And at 12 years of age, we have the Jason, what's going on in your body talk. And mom sits outside. So I said, hey, Jason, how are things going? How can I help you? He says, well, Dr. Bill, why am I so short? Well, his hormones hadn't clicked in yet. He still had delayed puberty, but I always look for a window, an open door. Jason gave me an open door to preach about nutrition. and so I said, well, Jason, so I got out my prescription pad and I said, Jason, I'm going to give you a list of tall foods, foods that'll help you grow. Call them grow foods, tall foods. And whatever match, football foods, tall foods, dance foods, cheerleading foods, pretty hair foods, whatever makes it relevant to the kids. And so I get a call from mom about a week later, Dr. Bill, what on earth did you say to my child? Now he's eating all those good foods that I tried to get him to eat. Now he is. I said, I just made it relevant. He wanted to be tall. Call them tall foods. So that's one little tip I use in my office to get kids to motivate what they do. And also, see, the earlier you start, this is the key. So I want to take our listeners into the brain for a minute, especially the brain of a young child. The brain is the greatest garden ever grown. Think of your brain as a garden. And what do you need to grow a healthy garden? You need to feed it and fertilize it. You need to keep the pests out, which are toxic thoughts, and you need to increase the blood flow to it, which is what movement does. So movement, healthy foods, meditation, and getting rid of toxic thoughts is like fertilizing and feeding your brain garden. And in the early 10 years, the first 10 years, is when those children are planting their great brain garden. That's when you want to plant the roots, in those early years.
Awesome. Now, Dr. Bill, this next question, you and I both have an affinity with the Down syndrome community. And can you talk about the special needs children that you come into contact, and then just talk about the Down syndrome, what I call special heroes?
Yes, our child number 7, Stephen. We have so many children, Troy. We have to number them. So, okay, so child number 7, Stephen, came into our lives not disabled, but differently abled. That was point number 1. That he had a different set of genes. Now, I couldn't change his genes, But when Stephen was born, there was a whole new science coming out called epigenetics. And that simply means that you can't change the genes, he'll always have that extra chromosome, but you can change how well the genes behave. So we wanted to teach his different genes to behave right. So we started him off from eating the best food. He ate, of all of our 8 children, he ate the best diet. We got him into every sport imaginable. I remember he was written up in Golf Magazine, and they called him at the golf club Harry Putter. We had him, he was a home run hitter on our baseball team. I would coach him, I was his. We moved, fed him, and we loved him, and we got him into dance and things that he loved to move. Right now, Stephen at age 1, Stephen is now really one of our most healthiest children because of the roots we planted into him. Again, he was differently abled, not disabled.
That is phenomenal. Excuse me. The next question is, as a financial professional, I get a lot of statistics about various ethnic groups, where they stack up in as far as critical and chronic disease. So how do you approach, let's just say, the Black and Hispanic community that is at a higher risk? Do you have a different approach when you're educating the dads coming into your office, or how do you actually go about that?
Well, yes, again, because of my background, I have a special, I guess, ministry to, shall we say, underprivileged children, what they are, since I was one. There really isn't good terms. They're just maybe kids who need a little more help. And so I, I am very, we doctors were wimps for a while. We say, oh, I just need to eat better and exercise more. No, that's not enough. So I get into the parents and I look them in the eye and says, all right, what is parenting? Parenting in a nutshell is giving your children the tools to succeed in life. That's it. You want your child to leave home with a toolbox that you imprinted into that child's mind early on. And one of the best tools, Troy, one of the best tools you can imprint into your child is the gift of health. The gift of health. And the earlier you start, I call it 3 magic words: shape, young, tastes. So those 2 years, you can do it at any age, but the earlier you start, the more it gets imprinted into the brain garden. But say by 6 months of age, only real foods. Our first foods we start was avocados. Nothing out of a can or jar. Avocados at 6 months, salmon at 7 months. Mush it up. And then I would take supplements like fruits, vegetables, omegas. We call them sprinkles. I see your sign back there, the Juice Plus, which is my favorite supplement I've been taking for 23 years now, and my family does. But we call it the sprinkle test in my office. And because the parents will say, well, my children don't, my first few children didn't like veggies. How can I take my young child and get them to like veggies? So I open a veggie capsule, put it on the tongue. I call it sprinkles, sprinkles. I have them do that 2 or 3 times a day. And I studied that in my office, and the parents would come back. Once I started giving him the ground up fruits and veggies at 6 months, this is my first child now who doesn't only like veggies, he craves veggies. And then I'll get an occasional patient in the office, Troy, who will challenge me. And when I talk about how you want to get children mentors You want to teach them the tools to succeed in life, nutrition, spiritual tools, how to help people, how to serve and volunteer, and called the beliefs effect. You want to instill belief. And I still have patients who will come in and they say, well, Dr. Bill, I want to raise a free thinker. I want my child to be a free thinker. I don't want to bias him with a bunch of thoughts early on. I'll just let him make up his own mind about how he eats and how he believes and how he acts later on. Well, that answer the parents gave me reminds me of one of my favorite movies, Dumb and Dumber. Dumb and Dumber. And, I've said that to patients. I said, that goes against everything we know about how the brain of a growing child works. The brain of a growing child grows fastest. That brain garden is growing fastest in the first 10 years. That's when you want to feed and fertilize and water that brain garden. You don't let the plants just kind of be there and hope you water later on, they'll wither. So that's a caution that I mentioned to patients. Take advantage of those early years and imprint on your children a belief system, a nutritional system, a volunteer system, a ministry system that you want your child to have tools for life.
I mean, sometimes, Dr. Bill, in life, you have to be bold. And the fact that you have that boldness about you to just let someone know, like a dad, that, that's not the smartest thing you could do. That just says a lot for you. We need more of that in our practices that our doctors are doing these days. But another question I want to ask you is, how did you, growing up with your 8 children, how did you set the tone, you and First Lady Martha, with nutrition in your family?
Well, we treated nutrition just like we did discipline. With discipline. All right, this is how we behave. This is how we talk. This is how we act. This is what we believe. I imprinted those. And this is what we eat. But Daddy, I don't like veggies. Honey, this is what we eat. And we just put in front of them what they were supposed to eat. And our kids nowadays, as adults, they say, Mom and Dad, we remember that. We didn't like it. We're going through it. But now we remember you modeled for us. We didn't have a choice. We either ate what you served or we got hungry. And I see parents in my practice say, well, they'll say, well, honey, I'm sorry, you don't like the veggies or your salad. I'll make you I'll open a box of mac and cheese. No, Dumb and Dumber. And I'll say, in fact, I did this with one patient who just wasn't getting it. And I said, the more you feed out of a box, the more you eat out of a box, the quicker you're going to wind up in a box. Oh, okay, I get it. See, I think the time has come, Troy, where the old system isn't working. The disease, say brain diseases, for example, for the first time in American history, now are greater than heart disease. The brain is now sicker than the heart. And I have my brain and my heart right here, partners in health. And sometimes I'll just sit there and do a little exercise with my brain and my heart, just to remind myself that the brain and the heart are partners in health. I don't want to be one of those statistics that 40% of people in America are going to lose their mind by the time they're 70 or 80. I don't want to be one of those sad statistics.
Well, I'm going to go out on a limb and say you won't be, sir. Now, we're talking about nutrition, natural, whole food plant nutrition with this company called Juice Plus. And it's powdered capsules, it's chewables, it's fruit bars, complete shakes, excuse me, 100% vegan, gluten-free. Folks, get back to the person who invited you so you can learn more. But Dr. Bill, what is your favorite go-to product? The first lady said, Bill, you can only have this for the next 2 weeks. What are you going to choose out of the line?
Well, actually, that happened to me after I came home from the hospital after colon cancer 23 years ago. And my dear nurse sat me down, and there were these 4 capsules on my plate. And I said, honey, what is this? Because I don't take anything that I haven't researched. And she just looked at me, you know how women do, that disarming look that you just want to say, yes, dear. And she looked at me in the eyes and smiled, just take it. And those 3 words, just take it, became my motto there. And it was Juice Plus fruits and veggies, because she said, one of the reasons you got colon cancer is you don't eat enough fruits and veggies. And this will fill in the gaps. So that's when I learned about it. And that's why I teach my patients so much about, show me the science. First of all, do you need it? Well, I needed more fruits and veggies. I wasn't eating enough. Therefore, I needed a supplement. And then I needed to eat more seafood. So an omega supplement. And like the omega blend, for example, which is a vegan blend because it comes from algae, which is a seafood. See, seafood can be sea plant. If you're vegan, then you can eat sea plants. And then, so that's when I became a medical consultant to the Juice Plus company 23 years ago. I believe this from the bottom of my heart, Troy, that it is the greatest company of integrity and research and people helping people grow financially, medically, and socially, that any country I've ever had any other company I've had the privilege to work for. They just help people grow. I call it the best health club you'll ever join. It's a personal growth club, financially, socially, and medically.
And I certainly do echo those sentiments. And as you said, there's so much growth with this company, and we make no medical claims. There's no cure-alls, but the science, as you mentioned, is there. And I believe it's over 41 peer medical reviews that have been done, and that list is growing. Make no income claims, but there are people, it's here for you. If you want anytime, part-time, full-time income, it is there for you. And everyone is doing, as good as they want to do. The opportunity is tremendous here, but the community of inspiring people like you, Dr. Sears, and so many others is incredible. But I want to talk to the doctors, the pediatricians, every discipline. What message would you say to them? Because as I learned from you and many other doctors are not trained on nutrition in medical school. So some doctors just don't know the power of whole food plant nutrition. So I want you to talk directly to those doctors on how they can integrate this into their practice, as you've been doing for 40 years.
Yes. See, the term doctor means teacher, Troy. Doctor means teacher. And what better teaching could you give the kids and your parents and the people at all ages is good nutrition. And for example, I'll tell you a story about, I had a family come into my office years ago, and brand new baby, 2-week checkup, and the mom was crying. And I said, well, what's the matter? She said, well, I have to go back to work. And, financial stress is big on a family. And I said, well, do you want to, or you have to go back? No, we have to go back to work. I want to stay home, my baby, but I can't. And I said, well, have you thought of starting a home business? And she says, no, I'm not good at selling. I said, well, are you good at sharing? Oh, I have a great social network. So I gave a few talks for her. She developed her home business, and she came in a few months later, gave me a hug, and said, thank you, Dr. Bill, for giving me the opportunity to stay home with my baby. I was a doctor. She needed help, and I taught her how to help herself. Now, that's what I call that helper's high again. So my message to a lot of the doctors, listen, teach your patients the gift of health. Give them tools, give them nutritional tools. Teach them food is medicine. Teach them on that slide I showed, which I have in my books, the Healthy Brain book, for example, most of our books. Teach them to move more. The more you move, the more you make medicine. And here's how I tell them, I say, all right, I scribble out a prescription. Here's what you take. Here's the medicine I'm giving you to take. But now I'm going to give you a list of how the medicines you make will help you. Here's what you take, and here's what you can make inside your body. You make your own medicines. And as soon as I mention that, my patients light up. Oh, I didn't realize I have a pharmacy inside my body. So that's how every specialty can instruct their patients.
Awesome. As we get closer to wrap up here, thank you, Lisa Michelle, for that reminder. But I just wanted to touch on the last little bit for the doctors about the Wellness Plus program, because a lot of doctors are busy in their practice, but we do have a program where you can partner up with someone like myself or even Dr. Bill, and they could pretty much handle the communication and getting the information to your patients while you're doing what you normally do. And that's called the Wellness Plus program. So please get back to the person who invited you and ask them about that program. But we have hundreds, if not thousands, of doctors that are part of this community and they're utilizing that program. But my last question, Dr. Bill, is we talked about God and we know how sacred family is. But how do you feel having your sons follow in your footsteps and carry on the legacy of the name Dr. Sears?
Well, thank you. Thank you. That term legacy is a wonderful health memory to have. And when our three sons joined us, Dr. Bob, Dr. Jim, and Dr. Peter joined me in medical practice, the joke was it took three of the young Dr. Sears to do the same job the old Dr. Sears was doing. But, and I still practice a day a week, and I just love it. And I love holding grandbabies, babies that I looked after when they themselves were babies. Now they're having babies themselves. And so it's just a joy. The medical profession is a joy to be in. And I highly encourage it. I highly encourage it. And what I tell my patients now, I don't use the term patients actually. I say, you're not a patient, you're a partner. You are a partner. I'm your doctor, and we are partners in health.
Well, you couldn't have said it any plainer or any more endearing, thinking of someone as a partner in their health journey. But we are at the close. Dr. Sears, thank you so much. Appreciate you.
I think we have a summary slide. Shall I just go through the summary slide there, Gabe?
Yeah, by all means, by all means.
Yeah, we did. We can just kind of wrap it up with that that last slide we have, Gay. And then basically, here's what we talked about. Move more, sit less, meditate more, agitate less, sky more, screen less, graze more, gorge less, sleep more. Sleep is healing. We didn't have time to talk about it, but sleep is like going into your pharmacy for a detox. It's when your immune system army, you sleep, but your immune system army reports for duty and cleans up the messes in your body while you sleep. Eat real foods, feel real good, and share more, feel better. And my wish for all of you is you have high doses of the helper's high by what you learned today, and you can share with someone else.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bill. And again, folks, all the guests, get back with the person who invited you. We welcome you. We love to lock arms in this community of inspiring healthy living, but we are going to stop the recording. And everyone, before we do that, just, I guess, Lisa, let them unmute themselves to say thank you to the good doctor. And then we're going to put up some upcoming events, and we shall say goodbye, and everyone have an amazing weekend. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Bill.
Thank you. That was
Thank you,
wonderful.
Dr. Bill.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you,
wonderful.
everybody. And
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you, Dr. Bill. That was
Bless you.
amazing.
well,
Yeah,
good.
absolutely
Let's do it again.
extraordinary.
You guys are wonderful to work with. Thank you. And let me know how I can share that on our media too there,
Okay.
Tori.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll make sure I get a copy of this to you for sure.
Great.
Thank you, Dr. Bill.
Thank you. Thank you, Gay. Thank you, Lisa.
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Yes. Mhm.
Goodbye,
Thank you.
everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, bye.